Hi, I'm Mike. Welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to jump into an engine building essential, cleaning the intake and exhaust valves prior to the rebuild of your heads. I'm going to show you how to do this using some simple tools and some chemicals that you can find locally. I got a description in the video, the video description on the chemical process if you want to jump into that a little bit more. I've tried several different approaches here, and I found that this works the best for me. There may be other ways of doing this, but for me, this works. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. All right, these are the materials and tools that you're going to need. I'm using Simple Green Pro HD cleaner. It's a high alkalinity cleaner, and it works well getting rid of or loosening up carbon deposits. For a better description of the chemical reactions, please look at the description of the video. You're also going to need some rinse water and some mineral spirits, and of course the containers that hold them. Mechanically, you're going to need a wire brush and some razor blades. If you have a wire brush on a bench grinder or hand drill, that may also work for you. One other thing, it's not necessarily a tool, but it's a block of wood, something that you can basically lay your valves on and roll them around. It just makes it easier for cleaning and holding the valves during the cleaning process. Prior to starting, wear some gloves. Be in a well-ventilated area. You are using chemicals. You don't necessarily know how you will react personally to those chemicals. So prior to soaking the valves in the Simple Green, it's a good idea to remove as much of the carbon as possible, at least the loose carbon. And a good way of doing that is with a razor blade. I'll demonstrate. And basically you just scrape it off. So it serves two purposes. It is a chemical reaction, and you don't want to have chemicals in there to react with the Simple Green if it's not necessary. You're basically just wasting product. So scrape it off, and from both the face, the stem, if you can, and also from the face, if that's possible. And with the face, you can see it's still coming up here a little bit. You aren't going to get as much off the face as you will from the back side of the valve, but that's the process that I go through. For the exhaust valve, you aren't going to get too much off with the razor blade, but you can see the gray stuff coming off here. It does help. So the majority of the gray stuff will come off on the valve face, but any little bit helps so that you're not wasting product and taking a longer time in the soaking process. Okay, we're going to jump into the next step of the process. The next step of the process is to soak the valves in 100% strength Simple Green HD Pro. This particular product has chemicals in it that will help break down any grease on the surface, as well as attacking the carbon and loosening the carbon. Depending upon how heavy your deposits are, it may be a minimum of an hour of soaking, or it may be 12 hours, or it may be several phases of doing that. So you're going to find that you're going to require a lot more soak time on the exhaust valves, just because of the nature of the carbon deposits. They basically have been baked in place. One thing that I found also is very helpful, as you can see in the bottom of this cup, is a nut. And what I do is so that I'm getting good circulation of the simple green. I basically prop the valve up on the nut so that I get circulation of the chemical in the bottom. Okay, on both valves, you can see that. The other thing I have here is a bucket of mineral spirits, and what I'm doing is taking the spring assembly, the valve seat, the keepers, and putting them in one valve at a time. So currently I've got the exhaust valve spring assembly soaking in the mineral spirits, and then I'll just wash that off or wipe it off. I've got rinse water here also, so whenever I am done soaking a valve, I will put it in the rinse water and I will wipe it off. You don't want any residue left from the simple green to have a continued reaction, which could cause some pitting or interfere with the lapping process that you're going to go into. All right, once you've got the valve that's been soaking, and this particular one's been soaking for over 12 hours, you take your brush and begin to remove. And this is going to take several soakings, I guarantee you, because of how baked on this carbon deposit is. But you work at it. And like I said earlier in the introduction, you can put the valve on its side on the piece of wood and rub off on the side here. You can see some of the hills of the carbon deposits are coming off as you're rubbing it. So on the bottom end, sometimes it makes it easier to take things off with the razor blade. So let's try that. Yeah. So that was much easier. So the carbon has been broken down. So it's much easier than what I showed you in the pre-cleaning. But it's going to take several repetitions before all this stuff comes off. Okay. I'm going to offline take a little bit more time cleaning up this valve, but you get the idea of the process that I go through. So this exhaust valve is going to soak a little bit longer. Here is the intake valve, the same pairing for this exhaust valve. And this one is essentially done. This is about as clean as you're going to get. There will be some deposits that just don't come off. That's good enough. You can still try, but that's probably about as good as you're going to get in this cleaning process. So if you're looking for beauty awards, well, don't worry about it. The judges won't be able to see inside the cylinder head. You can see the bottom. That looks great. This was cleaned off in the first iteration, or the first soaking of this valve. So we're good to go. Once that's done, you take the valve, put it in the rinse water, rub off as much as you can by hand, and then dry it off with a shop rag. Okay, so that one's done. The spring assemblies coming out of the mineral spirits. So there we go. Those will also be wiped down with a shop rag. Again, another good reason to wear shop gloves. And basically just wipe them off. Mineral spirits will not hurt if it stays on, but you don't want it to go all over your shop. So the other thing, when I took off the valves from the head, the spring support on the inside did come out a little bit, and in order to get that to reseat, basically just push down on it. And a few cycles of that, and that seat will be down where it needs to be. You can hear it click a little bit. Okay, so I'll continue to work that. Now, once you go through all of that process, this is what everything essentially looks like at the end. So here is what a clean assembly looks like, about as good as you can get on the exhaust valve. You can still see a little bit of some of these deposits here, but they won't interfere with the valve operation. And if there's anything that's remaining on the valve seat itself, or the seat face, that will come off during the lapping process. So, and then again, this is the intake valve. As you can see, it's pretty comparable to what just came out of the soak. So again, don't look for perfection. Look for a lot better than that. Okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or any comments that you'd like to make, or suggestions, I do appreciate it. I also want to make a comment. I had a viewer, Martin Scripps, who made some comments and some very good suggestions of why not use a mechanical process, vibration process, to do the cleaning. And he left me a video link. It looked great idea. I built one, and it did work, but this process works just as well. So this is the approach I'm choosing, and I will use that mechanical vibrating process in other applications, so it's not going to go to waste. All right, we've been at it for about an hour, so let's take a look at what it looks like. All right, so it's no longer purple in there. That's good. Looks like I still got some buildup on here. I wonder how tough it is, or brittle, or whatever the right term is. I'm going to put it on the bench top and take a razor blade to it and see what that looks like. All right, this has been going for another 2 hours now, or sorry, another hour, so 2 hours total. Here's the valve and the way it looks. What I'm going to do this time is just rub it with some 3M pad, just to see how this is coming off. All right, well, I think I still need to use the razor blade or some sort of mechanical, a little bit more aggressive mechanical method. It's coming off the stem pretty good here with the pad, which is nice. All right, that's not too bad. Let me try the razor blade method here. All right, not too bad. I think what I'm going to try now is just to let it sit in the 4-to-1 mixture, just to see how it will come out. Oh, that's not doing too bad. Once I mechanically agitate a little bit with the razor blade, but it's all right. I'm going to put it back in. I'm not going to actually. I might. As you can see, it's pretty gross here. I'll let it sit for a little while longer and just let it sit. Maybe just let it sit overnight, and we'll see how that comes out. The other thing I can experiment with might be the temperature of the solution. I used probably 80-degree water. If I heat it up a little bit, maybe do 100, whatever. I think this will be able to hold 100-degree, maybe 110 without too much of a problem. But if I heat it up, maybe that has a better opportunity. I've got or I can let it sit at in a pan. I've got some aluminum pans. Yeah, I'll think about it. But for now, I'm going to let it sit, see what happens with it, and if that overnight, and see what the result is.